If you're using Suno, you're probably thinking, this is a great tool. People who hate it just don't get it. I get why you think that. I've engineered a ton of sessions where people are using Suno, and that's exactly why I understand what the real problems are. And honestly, it's not good. I'm not saying AI music is the issue. I'm saying that it's a band-aid for a much bigger problem. And yes, you are part of the problem. Now, before you grab the pitchforks, hear me out. Don't come after me. I'm on your team. I'm here to help you out. This is about quality, skill development, and most importantly, the thing that people don't talk enough about, your audience. I'm not somebody who's reacting to AI music from the outside. I've engineered tons of sessions where artists are bringing in AI music, whether it be the stems, whether it rewrote the artist's lyrics and they are coming in to re-record their stuff, whether we are using it as samples to remake a beat that is layering over an existing real non-AI beat. I'm not just saying this out of fear. These are things that I'm actually experiencing and working on and getting paid for to do. So I have real skin in the game. Let's talk about the sound quality problem. At first, when you listen to an AI song, it's really impressive. It's actually creative. People say it's not creative. It could be actually more creative than most musicians. But when you're talking about sound quality in music, this has to be the lowest sound quality level that I experience day to day. It's worse than like the worst quality MP3 you could get. And yes, I know you might be printing out the WAV files, but they are still the worst quality WAV files, worse than an MP3. Just believe me on that. The audio is constantly changing. The type of sound and the type of mix that you get at the beginning of the song is changing the entire time. You never get that same snare hit twice or anything close to that. You get different snares. They turn into snaps. They tear apart in different quality levels. If you're using the newest version of Suno, they say that you're using, was it whatever, 4.5 or something like that. But I swear I'm hearing version 3 quality all over the place. And it could start out higher quality and end lower quality or vice versa. I'm constantly adding samples to like the kicks and the snares to make them sound grounded as an element in the song. Suno has that weird, noisy, demonic sound that persists randomly throughout the tracks. It comes in and out. It sounds awful. It sounds phasey and has this like weird texture to it that you can't undo. On first listen, you think that it's a high quality sound. But when you break it apart and actually work with it, it's the lowest quality audio that I deal with. For the last 16 years, I've been a full-time audio engineer, and this is the lowest quality. We are now in 2026. How is this the lowest quality? People need to realize what they're getting into. I owe it to you, the person that's using AI, to tell you the truth. I tell my artists the truth, and the quality isn't there. Maybe one day it will be, but not now. You know how you could split the stems? A lot of people don't understand how this really works, but it takes the final audio clip and then breaks it down into different stems, which is not an AI thing, by the way. It's not actually giving you an accurate drum track and an accurate instrument track, accurate bass track. It's tearing them apart from each other, which lowers the quality even more. I'm not talking about being an audiophile where you have nothing but gold cables and everything is the best possible highest end speaker that you're listening to in the highest treated room possible. I'm talking about on a very low level. This is bad. And you as a musician, if you're doing this for fun, whatever. But if you're doing this for real, if you really want to make this a career, you need to up your standards on the quality level. When I'm mixing these songs, they are much harder to mix than a tracked out song that is done traditionally. This means that what you get is never going to sound as quality as a mainstream product. If that's what you're going for, then this is not a great way to go. Maybe it's good for a demo or to get inspiration off of, but if you want really high quality, you're going to have to try harder than that. Let's talk about your skills being slowed down by AI. The way you get good at building songs is by failing, by building something, seeing it not work, trying it again, seeing it not work, trying it again, seeing something work, trying it again, damn, it doesn't work again. You have to make a lot of songs that vary in different quality levels as far as arrangement, lyric choice, style choice, etc. So when AI skips those steps and you go straight over to a song that sounds like a mainstream hit, you are doing yourself a disservice by not understanding how to create a hit. This is essentially the same thing as listening to a song that's a big hit and singing along with it, or maybe rewriting the lyrics. The skill of writing an amazing song or composing an amazing song is unique to amazing artists. I don't say unique lightly, by the way. This is a really hard skill for people to cultivate and turn into a career. Skipping these steps puts you at a huge disadvantage from the people that actually do practice this stuff. It basically puts you into the category of guessing what's good or what's not. I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're not good at writing songs. The flow of a song, how a verse leads into a pre-hook, into a hook, into a post-hook, into a bridge, so on and so forth. If you're not good at that, you're probably writing a bunch of random lyrics that you like, and AI is going to make it seem like it sounds good. So it's going to re-sing that for you in a way that sounds on the surface like it's actually good. But anybody who knows anything about songwriting will listen to it and be like, wow, that's a lot of run-on sentences. They'll be like, wow, it seems like those 5 bars worth of lyrics got kind of crammed into 4 bars, and they did some weird, crazy stuff to make it work. I see this kind of stuff in session, and professional musicians see this stuff as well. I'm not talking about having a low standard here, by the way. I'm talking about having a high standard. If you are new to this and your standard is low, which it probably should be, and you want to get to that point where you're at a high standard, this kind of stuff is important to pay attention to. By the way, whether you're using AI or not, if you skip these steps, you are doing yourself a great disservice to yourself, your future self, and creating the best music that you possibly could make. And by the way, side conspiracy here, I feel like Suno didn't rip off all of music. I feel like it ripped off like the Billboard Hot 100 for the past 500 years or something. But it didn't take everything. I feel like it's constantly trying to pump out the most pop music version of whatever genre you typed in for your prompt. And what does that sound like for most people? It sounds generic. It sounds very good as a generic version, but generic is replaceable, which means you are replaceable, which means your artistic decision is missing. And I know how tempting it is to hear something that you are inspired by and let it take control enough for you to convince yourself in your mind that you have artistic control, even though Suno was the one who steered it in that direction. You wrote a prompt, you did not steer it in that direction. I guarantee if you would have made that song using the means that you had around you, it would sound completely different. Much more original, by the way. Maybe not as high up in the Hot 100, but who cares about that? Because you are now trying to compete with the Hot 100, aka musicians that can afford to pay Nashville players, the people that can afford to pay the hottest artist in their town to hop on a song and add something to the song to make it better. You're entering a level of competition that on the surface feels very easy. But if you really want to go far with this, you need to shed Suno quick. I'm going to rant here for a little bit. I don't care about the algorithm. The industry standard has always felt soulless and plastic. And that's exactly what Suno is great at doing. Can it do very creative things within that world? Absolutely. I want to hear your contribution to music. If you are not constantly trying to get better in all aspects of making music, then you are going to weaken as an artist. It's inevitable. Your problem-solving skills are going to weaken. You're not going to learn how to adapt to what it takes to steer a song into the right direction when it's going in the wrong direction. You might be a good curator of a sound and be like, wow, that's a good song. AKA, I'll just adjust my song to that. But that's not what people really want at the end of the day. People want to hear your opinion on the song. They want to be impressed by your music. They want to be moved by a song. Let's talk about the audience real quick. I'm not breaking any new news here, right? That the audience wants real music. They don't want to hear an AI version of something. Once they hear that something was AI, they're going to respect it less, of course, in this day and age. In the future, AI is going to be so seamlessly integrated into the workflow that it won't feel the same as it does now. Right now, Suno is a very weak tool. It only outputs low quality, low editability type content that you can then just take it or leave it. Very few people are willing to use it to its potential that it has right now in the Suno Studio app, for example. So again, if this is a hobby and you don't really care that much, who cares? You could still comment in the comment section. That's great. Go in there, go in the comment section. Add a little bit of engagement to my video. I'm a working professional and I'm talking to people that want to be working professionals. So if you are one of those people, you are potentially dividing your audience even more by using Suno, because most people care. Even if they are okay with Suno, as soon as they find out that it's Suno, they are going to respect it less. And in the age of music being so hard to get seen by, and it's so hard for people to find your music nowadays, it's so hard for them to want to become amazing fans. By using Suno, you are dividing them even further. On the surface, they might be okay, but in the end, they will be less impressed. And I get it. Nobody has just a band laying around that could create the perfect song, and that sucks. But that's also what makes the top artists. We can't all be a top artist here, right? There has to be winners and there has to be losers. There also has to be participation trophies here and there. But again, if you want this to be a long-term career, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And that's what I'm here to talk about. AI as a tool right now, in my opinion, sucks. In my opinion, as a tool, Suno is getting by off of the wow factor and not by the actual practical application factor. It's not a good tool. It's a good party trick. And yes, you could do a lot with party tricks. I made a beat with my chickens that I have in my backyard. You could take something and turn it into something. We know that, and that's really fun about music. It's one of my favorite things about music. And that's how I would use Suno if I were to use it. But I don't get that same feeling that I get when I could actually accomplish something on my own. It doesn't excite me the same way. If you are using Suno right now to help you with music, I want you to treat this as a temporary time in your life before you move on to bigger and better things. In the meantime, I want you to be looking out for other options to help you create music. You could get high quality instrumentals online through YouTube, through the lease system. What I think is great is to hire musicians on Fiverr to help you finish a track. There's a lot of amazing musicians of all different kinds that can help you finish a track and make it real. Does it cost more per song to do that versus pay the $30 or $40 a month or however much it is for Suno? Yes, but do you need to make 1 million songs? No. You can treat every single song as if it's precious, as if it's something worth your time to create. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for using Suno. I'm trying to convince you to embrace the amazing world out there of musicians that have been practicing their whole lives, and how instead of creating 1 million songs, you could create fewer songs with more effort per song. I don't want you to sacrifice quality for more output. I think you could create less and promote more. It's going to be more important in the future that you know what you're talking about when it comes to making music, unless you're trying to compete with other AI artists. And that's a race to the bottom. Using Suno as a tool is not a problem in my opinion, but it's a slippery slope into an addiction of quick dopamine hits that will slow your growth. I want you to know that this is not anti-AI at all. I'm talking to the people that I work with. If you work with me, you know that I'm all about a high quality product. The cost of Suno is not about money. The cost is your ears, your experience, and your audience's trust. If you're going to use AI, use it intentionally. Whatever you do, do not hide behind it. And don't let it replace your growth factor that you so desperately need in your journey. If you're looking to replace AI in a slightly more healthy manner, and you want me to make a video on that, let me know in the comments. If you hate what I'm saying, and you think AI is the best thing ever, let me know in the comments. My name's Randy. I appreciate your time. Thank you.